Hey, what is up everybody, Blaze for here, and today for you guys another video of Persona 5X. Inside today's video guys, we're going to be mainly going over how you would want to use this character, or at least don't make these mistakes when trying to use the character Howler if you went ahead and summoned. Now this is a very interesting character here. She is a new fire debuffer character, and she is a standard unit as well. So we're going to be going over exactly how to use this character just to make sure not to make any mistakes with that, as well as what you really want to be running on her to use her, I want to say, properly in the team that you decide to go with. So if you guys like this video, of course, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy it, and hit that little like button and hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out quite a lot, especially when it comes down to the channel and getting into the algorithm. So all right, let's get straight into it. So with Howler, as I did state before, she's our new fire, at least, fire, yeah, our new 5-star fire debuffer here, in which with this one here, she plays a little interesting. She doesn't seem like that she does all too much, and she feels like kind of a mid-range character, but honestly, she has a lot of usage, or at least a lot of decent usage with the mid amount of things that she can kind of do. So with this character, for the first part, how we're going to actually go ahead and start off with this is just straight up, don't want to make the mistake with the set effect. If you actually don't know what set she needs to be using, this is the set that you want to be looking for here. It helps out with her effect hit rate boost, as well as allows you to increase your flame damage on the negative different conditions. This is pretty much going along with anything that has kind of like a negative state on the enemy. So any type of element, stuff like that, she's getting more damage off of this actual card set. Alongside of having the actual Liberty card at the top there, it actually increases the amount of damage that we do to negative stated enemies as well. So this is actually really good to make sure you're using her correctly. Now, I do understand some of you guys may want to use a fire set on this character. Very well, you can do that. You can go ahead and do it, just you won't get the most use out of her, even that she is a debuffer and not meant to be a DPS. Surely do try to run her as much as possible when it does come down into that type of deal. Now, one of the things that we did need to get out through the room, in which I will be discussing more inside of the build guide later on here, is actually the weapon. Weapon wise, it does not matter which weapon you have. She actually does really well with her 4-star weapon and her 5-star weapon. I've only used her 5-star a little bit, and I don't really tell the difference too much, but the 4-star weapon actually does work very well for this character. Now, to make sure that we're actually running things the correct way, of course, as well, you want to make sure at all costs you don't want to be using the wrong moves here, or at least the wrong moves for the said character. Now, this character plays in 2 different types of ways. Much how like Mont changes with her forms here, Howler's a little bit different. She actually changes based on the amount of people on the field a little bit here. So if there is only one type mob here, right? If there is one mob that you're mainly focusing down, there's a certain rotation that you want to go with her skills, because her skills aren't really bad. It just comes down to what you're going to be utilizing her for. So if it is a single target boss or something like that, for example, one of these little bosses here, I would be using the single target rotation of her skill 2 and her skill 3. The reasoning for this, of course, is her skill 2 is mainly single target based here, and it gives you another bonus called Furious Pursuit. Now, Furious Pursuit here is another one of her little passive ordeals that she has here that can allow her to stack up one of her her follow-ups. This is going to be very important. This is going to allow you to do some crazy damage, especially with your skill 3, which is the go woof move here. So if we go ahead and I guess I just jump into something here just to show you guys a little bit of an example. Now, I'm not really going to be doing anything crazy with this one. I guess we can just use something random here. So I don't really want to use this character. I don't want to use that character here. I'm just gonna smack up freaking another fire unit and just call it a day for this one. But we'll go ahead and just toss this in here, right? Which this is not a valid team, of course, here. But when we look at Howler, we have our skill 1s and stuff like that, but we can't use the skill 3. Well, since this is a single target, you're really going to want to actually go ahead and use the skill 2, getting off that single target hit. And this is actually building up her readiness for the next turn that she has. As we can see, she has this little thing right here, which is called Big Bad. And Big Bad is pretty much allowing you to deal more damage, or at least increased damage here, when it does come down to at least follow-up damage and stuff like that, right? So So no matter what, she's going to be dealing a lot more damage in that aspect. So if we go ahead and just keep moving here, and I'm going to go ahead and show both of these off in a different way as well. We go ahead and keep moving. I'm just going to buffer just for the fun of it here. Later on, you guys are going to see we're going to end up doing a move that is specifically due to at least us using our skill 2. Now another move also will end up coming into play once we do use our specific skill 1, but they both do change. So if we go ahead and use Go Go Wolf Wolf, we can see that this is actually a single target move here, right? This is a single target enemy move if we go ahead and use what's it called, if we use the one beforehand. Now this one is specifically for one enemy. That is just one enemy. Now the other one, if we go ahead and actually use this character how it's intended to, which is mainly meant on multiple enemies here for the most part, you want to use the skill 1 into skill 3. This actually helps you get more involved, especially when it comes down to debuffing as many people on the field as possible. And I'm gonna find something kind of easy to get into, I guess, something that doesn't really get us kind of murked, because that's what I'm really trying to showcase for this real quick. And I guess we'll just do one of her one of our actual little missions here. So if we put Howler here, and I'm just going to toss her on here, and it's going to be a team for now. Boom, we do something like this, right? Now this time we're going to go ahead and use the skill 1 to skill 3. Skill 1 is more of the what's it called, AoE side of things. So once again, we do an AoE move here, does some knockdowns or something, that whatever we really want to do at this point in time. I'm just going to quickly guard because we don't really got to do anything. We're not going to be finishing this anyways. So I'm going to use skill 1. And now instead of it being a single target, it's actually going to have more of an AoE effect here. This is mainly just going to be because we used that skill 1, which was an AoE type skill, and it actually does change Go Go Wolf Wolf accordingly. As you can see now, it has a debuff for all enemies here, in which if we go ahead and use it, it looks something like this, in which we get a double hit. And of course puts on some very interesting debuffs. So how you really want to utilize this character really depends on what you're fighting. Mainly you do want to go ahead and use her for at least the AoE type of thing, so make sure you're doing this correctly. Using skill 1 into skill 3 is always perfect, but never just neglect your skill 3. Your skill 3 is where your big boy type stuff is going to happen, so surely do take advantage over all of that, seeing that it's going to be your main thing. Do not make a mistake with this character. Now for the next thing that we want to go over, especially when it comes down to not making a mistake with this character, it's for the people who genuinely don't know your team, right? Now the teams here for this team, for her, is a little bit interesting. I want to go more in depth with them in a different video, which is why I'm going to be saving that a little bit here. But the teams for her is going to be kind of interesting. Instead of actually being on mono fire, which she very well can do, she's not really recommended to go ahead and use her on mono fire. The main reasoning for this is because you do need her for at least some buffs here. You do need her for the DPS herself, right? She is a debuffer. So at the end of the day, you're going to be running her with most likely a buffer in the team or a healer, and then you're going to be running the main DPS. Well, depending on if you are going for a more follow-up related team here, Bowie's going to most likely be in the team, and you're going to mainly be using her as a more of a more of a single target aspect, if you know what I mean, right? Because of course Bowie only goes for more of a single target type deal. Now you could use her that way, or if you're doing AoE, which both teams can technically do AoE as well, but more or less you're going to be using AoE with at least on for most part. If you're doing more of an AoE type style, then of course it's going to be with On's going to be doing a lot more AoE related stuff, at least with her skill 3, and that's going to be how it goes. Now her main teams, no matter what, are going to have most likely Cord in them with Futaba in the back. Though of course, if you did want to run a mono fire team, you would be using most likely Key, because Key actually does help on this team. Surprisingly enough, we thought that he would get replaced, but instead it's actually he's going to be a good helper for at least the fire mono team if you want to go for this instead of using Cattle. So always good to use Key with her as well if you don't have Cord ready, don't have Cord just yet, which a lot of us should be having Cord. Use Key for the mono fire. So if you're going for the Bowie team, it would be something like Bowie herself, mainly because of the follow-ups that we do need from her ultimate. You'll be getting Bowie herself. You then would use at least Closer, in which this is weird why this is happening. there. I don't like that. Why'd you kick me off my game? Why would you do that? That was just rude. But you would be using closer, and then you would go ahead and follow up with Bowie herself while we log back into the freaking game there, because that was crazy. But that would be your main team. Now, once again, of course, if you are using mono electric for the most part, which is Bowie being actually electric, closer being electric, and then most likely your Wonder having electric persona on it, then you would use Phoebe for that team as well. But all in all, you're not doing too much of anything different. So the last thing that I want to go over to make sure that you guys are really not using this character incorrectly and you're really going for those big numbers, and you're able to actually do what she's intended to do, which is debuff here, we're going to go ahead and look into the actual substats for this character. Now, my substats are really scuffed when it does come down to at least the guides and stuff like that, build guides and stuff, or at least this character. But you guys are going to have more of an in-depth build guide type look, especially when it does come down to this character later on. But anyways, the thing that you don't really want to mess up is definitely the substats. This character increases a lot of things that she needs, and her main ordeal is going to be that effect hit rate, in which even me myself, I don't even have her effect hit rate fully maxed out. It's supposed to be 172 to be really maxed out for the most part, and that's something that's going to be acquired, especially when it does come down to your substats. The main things that you really want to be looking for this character is going to be a crit rate, crit damage. Yes, I know it's a really good freaking piece, and I got gypped. So yeah, I'm gonna have to try to redo this one eventually because I don't want too much effect hit rate here, but I do want to get that crit rate up. But anyways, it would be effect hit rate, crit damage, and then of course you want to try and get some attack percentage or damage boost on this character. Make sure your stats are looking, at least for the main stats, are looking like these, because you need to have damage bonus, you need to have effect hit rate, and you have to have attack percentage. Once again, when it comes down to the substats though, you want to try to have EHR, crit rate, crit damage, and maybe damage bonus or attack percentage. That's going to make her really use her whole use for her character really worthwhile. Though do understand, this is not a character for DPS. This is a character who is meant for debuffing, so surely do keep that in mind. Now, if you do decide to go for the weapon here, this weapon mainly does help, especially for decreasing these defenses. Though of course, you won't always have that with the 4-star side, but it can be at least, I want to say compensated if you do have Wonder built certain ways with certain personas. So don't think it's the end of the world if you don't have the 5-star weapon here. But anyways, that is all I have to say when it comes down to don't make these type of mistakes for at least Runa here. And if you guys really enjoyed this video, of course, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me and it really helps out the channel. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.